Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of BEBE from Sideway Stories from Wayside School written by Louis Sachar. This book contains 30 stories and each story is either about a child or a teacher who was at Wayside School. And Wayside School is a special school because it was accidentally built sideways. The original idea was to build one story high with 30 classrooms all in one row. But the builder, by mistake, built 30 stories high with one classroom in each story. Later on, he said sorry. But the children at Wayside were very happy because now they had an extra large playground to play. Now we shall see about BEBE. BEBE was a girl who had short brown hair, little baby nose, tiny toes, but big brown eyes. Her full name was BB Gun, and she was a girl who could draw so fast in Mrs. Jewell's class. How fast means she can draw a cat in less than 45 seconds. She can draw a dog in less than 30 seconds. She can draw a flower in less than 8 seconds. Of course, she will not just draw one dog or one cat or one flower in the class, because the art class was from 12:30 to 1:30, that is 1 hour was that period. And in that time, she will finish 50 cats, 100 flowers, 20 dogs and several eggs or watermelons, and she used to take the same time to draw the eggs and the watermelons. Next to her sat Kelvin, and he thought he was not very good at art because in a whole period, that is in 1 hour, he will be able to draw only one aeroplane. So he decided that he will become BEBE's assistant and helper. That is, his idea was, as soon as BEBE would finish one masterpiece, he would take it from her and he will give her another clean sheet of paper. And whenever her crayons were running low, he will give the new crayon to her. And in that way, BEBE will not have to waste her time in changing the paper or changing the crayons. In return for this, he expected BEBE to draw 5 or 6 aeroplanes for him. And that day, it was 12:30, the period for art, and BEBE was ready. And on her desk was a sheet of yellow construction paper, and she had green crayons in her hand. Kelvin was also ready. He had a stack of paper and a box of crayons. He asked BEBE whether she was ready, and BEBE said, "Yes, ready, Kelvin." And at that time, Mrs. Jewell came and said, "It is time for art." She had hardly finished a sentence when BEBE had already drawn a picture of a leaf. Kelvin took that from her and gave her another piece of paper. "Red," called BEBE, and immediately Kelvin gave her a red crayon. "Blue," she said. He gave her a blue crayon. And they were such a team that they worked remarkably, and BEBE drew pictures as fast as Kelvin could pick up the old paper and set down the new. She drew a fish, an apple, 3 cherries, bing, bing, bing. And at 1:30, Mrs. Jewell announced that the art class was over. BEBE dropped her crayons and fell over on her desk, and Kelvin also leaned back in his chair. He was so tired that he could hardly move, and they found out that they had broken the old record because BEBE had drawn 378 pictures, and they all lay in a pile on Kelvin's desk. Mrs. Jewell came by and she saw Kelvin's table and she asked him, "Did you draw all these pictures?" Kelvin laughed and said, "No, I can't draw. BEBE drew them all." Then she asked him, "Then what did you draw?" Kelvin said, "I didn't draw anything." Mrs. Jewell asked him whether he was not interested in art. Kelvin said, "I love art and that's why I didn't draw anything." Mrs. Jewell was not able to understand. Then he said, "In one period, I'll be able to draw only one picture." And BEBE in that one period would have drawn 100 pictures. But when we both worked together, she was able to draw 378 pictures. And that's a lot more art. Beebe and Kelvin shook hands, but Mrs. Jewell said, "No, you will not measure art like this. It does not matter how many pictures you have. What actually matters is how good the pictures are. A person can spend his whole life drawing just one picture of a cat. In that time, Beebe, with her speed, will be able to draw 1,000,000 cats." Beebe says, "I'll draw 2,000,000. Mrs. Jewell continued saying, "But if that one picture which he had drawn is better than each of Beebe's 2,000,000, then it means that that person only has produced more art than Beebe." Beebe looked as though she was going to cry. She picked up all the pictures from Kelvin's desk and threw them in the garbage, and she ran from the room. And Kelvin said, "I thought her pictures were good," and reached into the garbage pail and took out a crumpled picture. It was a picture of an aeroplane. Beebe walked outside into the playground where Mr. Louis, the art teacher, spotted her. And he asked her, "Where you're going?" She said, "I'm going home to draw a picture of a cat." He asked her, "Will you bring it to school and show it to me tomorrow?" Beebe laughed, saying, "Tomorrow? I doubt by tomorrow whether I'll be able to finish even one whisker of the cat," and she walked home. Thus, Beebe has learnt what real art is. Here ends the story of Beebe. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe. Thank you.